Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today, I wanted to talk about something that was brought to me by one of you guys, actually, because I've talked about getting on with people, I've talked about persuasion, I've talked about all these other bits and pieces in regards to just getting along with people or the fostering relationships, even if those people are kind of hard to deal with. We've kind of touched on those things before, but someone's came to me and asked me very specifically the other day to maybe just consider doing a video just about what we need to do to get on with people who are just hard work, be they family members, be they people that we work with, friends that we've had for a long time, because a lot of the stuff that I talk about tends to be either in regards to relationships, be they platonic or romantic, or kind of work environment stuff. And so family members, they're the ones that will get under your skin the most. They always will. They always probably have. They're the people you can't necessarily get rid of as well. If you've got a toxic friend that's gone off the rails and is causing you problems or trying to blame you for everything, then you can up and leave. You can kind of go, okay, fair enough. You were lovely at one point. Now you're just being crazy, and I'm out. With family, that's an awful lot harder to do, and at times to do that requires paperwork. So, this question was pitched to me. How do you get along with anyone? Even if you don't like them, even if they're hard to deal with, even if they're a pain in the ass, how do you get along with anyone? And so I wanted to try and address this, and I've got a handful of points here. To go through to try and help. Now, the first thing is something that you need to do for yourself more than anything else, and you need to accept that you aren't going to like everyone. There's going to be that one person that you meet, and the way they shake your hand is all limp and floppy. The way that they smile puts you on edge. The way that they talk, be it a very nasally voice or something like that, just puts you off them. The way that they talk in terms of the things that they say might be very brash or very, very kind of snide and snarky, and you may not like that. You might not get on with that. These are just examples, but these are all things that maybe you just don't like that person on meeting them, or they do something. You give that person a chance, and they do something that gives you a bad kind of second impression, and you tilts your judgment to dislike those people. Now, the all you have to do is just accept that you aren't going to like everybody. There is not going to be someone that can get on with everyone without fail. There is always going to be that one person or those two people, that small handful, that will tick you off. Now, the next thing, and I've talked about this in other videos, is that when you're faced with these kinds of individuals or these kinds of situations where you are stuck with those individuals, you need to you need to be aware of your emotions, and you need to stay calm. There's, if you get angry, if you flip out, then you tend to go for temper over, say, being tactful and being civil and polite. As with the video I had earlier this week talking about, kind of half ranting about the phone call that I had with a particularly kind of vile and toxic individual who was trying to sell me something. I remained polite and reasonable and open throughout the entire conversation, remaining completely civil. And so it's a case of as much as that person might have been winding me up, it's a thing that you need to do, because as soon as you give in to temper, you aren't going to think straight, you're not going to think kind of reasonably, and so it's all going to, any discussion, any argument, any whatever you're having is going to fall to pieces. So keep calm and remain civil and polite, within the reasonable limits of the situation. I'm not necessarily saying you shouldn't swear and you should only talk in formal manners, but just be reasonable, be nice, be polite. Don't just fly off the handle at someone. No knee-jerk reactions. Have that control of yourself, because they might wind you up, but the only person that controls you and your emotions, the things you say and do, is you. Just remember that. So the next point, number 3, don't take it personally. You know, the whole water off a duck's back, you need to think of it big picture. You need to widen your thinking of the situation that you're in, and that'll hopefully help reduce misunderstandings and things. But also, this person might just be speaking the way that they speak. They might be operating the way that they operate. And so as a result, even if it seems directed at you, don't take it personally. Don't internalize it. Don't stew on it or anything. Just take it as part of that situation. That was just part of that photo that we just took of that moment. And then that's just something to move on from. It's not something to get stuck on. So the next one, number 4, is express how you're feeling. Because some people will be a pain in the arse to deal with because they just always operate that way. And no one ever talks to them. No one ever tells them that what they're doing makes someone feel that way. Feels upset with them or negative towards them. You know, make sure that you're doing it in a way that isn't just like, you make people feel like shit. You know, talk about your feelings, how your interactions with them affect you. You know, talking about in a non-aggressive way about how you feel. You know, when you X, then you know that makes me feel this way. You know, and I'd be happier if maybe you could just do it this way instead. Yeah. So you've got a boss who's who you have difficulty with, and I know I'm going back to the workplace thing. Or you've got let's make this a family member. You've got an uncle who, whenever there's a family gathering, comes into a room and yells at you across the room to say hello. You know, so go and have a chat with that uncle and just be like, look, when you shout at me across the room, I know you're trying to say hello, but it always makes me kind of intimidated and set upon from across the room. If you could just come up and give me a hug and a handshake or something instead, then that would be better. You know, but he might not have realised that that's the thing. He might have just thought that was completely acceptable and it was fine. And it's just that he's glad to see you, but it's put you on edge. Yeah, let them know in a non-argumentative, non-accusatory way that, you know, maybe that's just not the way that you want to be dealt with, and it makes you feel a bit off. You know, but next point, number 5, I think, is there are going to be times when that person is going to be there to confront you, to argue with you, and you need to do kind of 2 things. So sub point 1 is if they are like actively setting themselves on you, kind of if they're being really negative and being, you know, generalist and just crapping on you, and that's what's making you feel bad, go for specifics. Bring them to the same level as you in the conversation. So if they are going to be negative towards you, if they are going to be hard to deal with, then you need to ask questions. Yeah. So if it's a family member, a grandparent who's very difficult to deal with because she always tells you that you're a lazy layabout and you never do any work, you never do this, you never do that, you're not going to be a success, oh, you're so terrible compared to your cousins, all that kind of thing. Simply put, go, okay, well, please provide me with your specific criticisms. Have her actually codify what she's saying. And if she can't, and it's just her moaning at you because she prefers her cousins to you, for instance, your cousins to you, for instance, then you know, you can then, you've pulled her up to your position in the conversation, and you can then analyze and either break down or move past what she's saying, not taking it personally because she's obviously not being personal with it because she can't be specific. But then the other sub point is you need to pick your fights. You've only got a limited amount of energy to exert every day. You know, sometimes dealing with people who are difficult and who you can't necessarily get away from can be really tough because those people have about the same amount of reasoning skills sometimes as a toddler during a tantrum. As a kid knocking stuff off shelves in a shop because they've been told they can't have something or whatever else. In which case, that will just create a drawn out argument that will just be a fight, and again and again and again and again. I've said this before, don't medicate the corpses. If someone is already a lost cause, don't waste the resources that you have on those people. Move past it, kind of work towards other things. Yeah? So those are the kind of two sub points for if you have to have those discussions with people. 1, bring them to your position in the conversation. 2, if they're going to be blatantly unreasonable, then conserve your energy. Be present, but don't be present, if you get what I mean. So otherwise, though, the last thing that I would say is generate yourself some decent space for you. Yeah? You're the one that controls your emotions and all the rest of it, but stuff will wear you down. Have your friends that you can talk to about this. Have other family members that you can talk to about it. Have your way of kind of cleansing yourself of the stress of it, of the problems that have been caused through it. You know, have that all in your head or ready to go, so that if it's a family gathering, when you get to your room, you know that sitting down and watching some of your favorite YouTube on on your phone or something will just help you de-stress and get it out of your head. Know the when you get home from dealing with some of these people at a company event or when you're out with friends or something like that, then once you come away, you know that you can have a nice warm shower and just relax on your bed and just let it all go. You know that when you get home, you can text your partner and say, "My God, that was insane." Or when you get home and your partner's actually there, not thinking about my situation for a moment, then you can have a sit down and just de-stress with them as part of your support network, and allow them to do the same. Have it be a two-way streak if that's the particular thing that we're looking at here. But either way, have your kind of backup and support system in place so that when you have kind of dealt with those situations, you can just get on with it and just cleanse yourself of it. But either way, I hope that's helpful. I hope that answers the questions of the people who have had these questions. And thank you very much to Holly, who has commented before and who I've coached before and all the rest of it, who actually brought this as a topic to me. So, there it is. Hopefully that helps, guys. 6 points, give or take, with a couple of sub-points in there for you guys to hopefully take on board and action so that you don't have as hard a time of dealing with certain people as you would have maybe done otherwise. But either way, I'd love to hear your stories about when you've had tough times with dealing with people, how you dealt with it. And also, if you put these into action and they help you out, just be nice to hear. But otherwise, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the video later. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed this video or found it interesting, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more. And I will see you in the video later. Take care.